Good morning, everyone. Thank you. My job is to calm you down, first of all, for a few minutes. We're underway, and can I welcome everyone here to our annual conference. It's almost a year to the day since I first stood before you as the new chairman of IDA Ireland. And at the time, I spoke about the pride and the excitement I had about being associated with an organisation that I'd worked with for most of my professional career, but only knew from the outside. And the most common question I've had in recent times as I've met people within the organisation is, has your view changed in the year in which you've been in the organisation? And I have to say, yes, it has changed. I'm even more proud of the organisation that I'm now part of than I was 12 months, because I've seen it firsthand, the quality of the organisation. And it's due at the end of the day to the people. Because some of you have asked me over the year, what does the board actually do? Bit too much laughter there, I think. And I'd like to call out the members of the board who are here. I see Tony, I see Leisha, I know John is here somewhere, and obviously Michael and Mary. Ultimately, the board is about governance. Ultimately, the board is about making sure that the organisation stays between the ditches, as we'd say down the country. Ultimately, it's about protecting the reputation. If you look at the code of conduct for state bodies, it talks about the board having to ensure the long-term sustainability of the organisation. But the best boards I worked with over the years in my previous life were a critical friend to the executive and the organisation. They were supportive, but they asked the tough questions to make sure that the organisation had that long-term sustainable future. And again, one of the things I've really noticed about the organisation is the professionalism and around the governance. And it's not just the financial aspects of it and the other aspects that Regina and the team run and Tony oversees on the board subcommittee. It's not just about the legal part of it, where Sheila and the team make sure we adhere to all the obligations we have. It's around the people and Ron and her team and the work they're doing. And it's an area I've always been hugely interested in my past life, because I have a strong belief if you get the people issues right, and if you create an organisation and an ethos where people feel comfortable, they feel accepted for who they are, they understand the high bar of integrity that's set for them. If they're comfortable in that organisation and they feel the values of the organisation align with their own values, good things will happen, and more importantly, bad things won't happen. And that's the thing that's most impressed me over the last year. The professionalism, the quality, the people who appear in front of us board level, the quality of the papers we get, it's absolutely superb. And it's a long-winded way of me saying a really heartfelt thank you from myself and from the other board members here, and I know from the executives, but they'll do their own thanks during the course of the next day or two, to each one of you. And forgive me for those who've heard the story before, but there's a famous story told about John F. Kennedy when he was president, where he went to visit what was then Cape Canaveral, because he had declared in 1960 that the United States would put a man on the moon before the end of that decade. And as he walked around the organisation talking to people, he met a janitor and he asked him, "What's your job here?" And he said, "My job is to help put a man on the moon." And every single person in this organisation contributes to what IDA is about, what IDA is looking to achieve. And the success we've had, and we have had an excellent year. Michael will go through the results in some detail, but for the third year running, more than 300,000 people in this society and this economy are directly employed by foreign direct investment companies, and that's thanks to each one of you. The big issue for the board this year was the strategy. And I really would like to commend Michael and Mary for one of the more inclusive strategy processes that I've seen in my professional career. We had the voice of our clients, we had the voice of you, we had multiple iterations, we consulted widely with our stakeholders, and we collectively, everybody in this room, has put a plan together to try and get us through the next 5 years. And I know some of you will look at 2025 and you'll say, we've a change of administration in the US, we've got tariffs coming in, inflation hasn't been licked yet, supply chains are still a problem, there's still wars going on, The economy and the global landscape looks as difficult as it ever looked in before. But we've been through this before. This is not the first rodeo for a lot of people I see in the room who have lived through even worse times than this. And the board and the executive are very happy that we've got a strategy in place now for the next 5 years. But if I go back, it's not just about the strategy, it's about the values that we all live in. And Michael again will talk more about this over the coming days, about the values that we expect of ourselves and we expect of everybody in the organisation. So when we talk about empowering, when we talk about inclusiveness, when we talk about resourcefulness, when we talk about enterprising, those values, every one of us in this room is entitled to call up and call out if they don't see any of us live those values. The values are, the strategy is important. It's very important to have a roadmap from where you are now to where you want to get to. But the values are the glue that keeps all of us together, that keeps us going on the roadmap. And I have no doubt that over the next 12 months and over the next 5 years, if we stick to our values, if we stick to our strategy, we will succeed over that period, over the next 5 years. And when I was appointed chairman and I was in front of the Oireachtas subcommittee, I said that, although this metaphor has dimmed a bit with time, I said we were a bit like Manchester City in football, or Limerick in hurling, or Shamrock Rovers, that we go out to win every year. And every year that we win, we bank it, we put it away, and we start the new season to win again. And that's what we've got to do over now, the next 12 months and the next five years. We've had a brilliant last 5 years plan. There's no way we envisaged having 300,000 people. That was great. There's a bit of time needed over the next day or two to pat ourselves in the back. We now need to turn to the future and focus on achieving for the next 5 years. So thank you. Thank you to each and every one of you. I'm, as I said, prouder than I was 12 months ago, but I'm really humbled as I walk around the organisation, meeting every one of you and the things you do in the organisation that ultimately help us to be successful. Without your involvement, without your participation, whatever area of the organisation you're in, without your patriotism, without you getting blood on your shirt, as every one of you do for Ireland, this IDA is a systemically important organisation for the country, for the economy and for society. But ultimately, it's about you. And thank you very much.